Hello, everybody, and welcome to my SEC Thursday show. Let's just dive in as the SEC race is getting tighter and tighter. This is becoming a very fun season. Before everyone wrote out Bama after the Florida State loss, they might be the best team in the SEC. Ole Miss and Texas A&M have been surprisers. Vandy's been a shocker. South Carolina and Florida have surprisingly been trash. Very interesting season. In the SEC. Diving right in, 9-0, 6-0 in conference play, ranked third in the country, the Texas A&M Aggies. They put on an insane performance at Missouri. I get it. Pabula was injured, but they beat them 38-14. Going on the road against a top 25 team in a hostile environment. They are an insanely great football team. Missouri are not insanely good, but they're pretty good for you to smoke them. I personally think Texas A&M should be number 2 after Indiana struggled against Penn State. Ultimately, not the move they decided to go to, but that's fine, I guess. But Marcel Reed's playing great. 3 games left. They should win the next 2. They host South Carolina, who they got blown out to on the road last year. South Carolina was a lot better last year. Aggies were a lot worse that year, and it was on the road. I don't see them getting upset again. But yeah, this has been a great year to be a Texas A&M Aggie fan. It has been phenomenal. If you are an Aggie fan, But then going into Austin will be a scary game, but who knows? They may have already locked an SEC title game, or most likely not. Or maybe, but yeah, we don't know though. Sorry. 8-1, 6-0 in conference play. The Alabama Crimson Tide. They are ranked fourth in college football. Again, everyone wrote them out. Losing at Florida State. It was like, okay, it's time to get DeBoer out of there. And yet they have the best resume in college football. Vanderbilt's still a good win. Georgia's still a good win. Florida State is an unacceptable loss, but still. Missouri doesn't look as good now, but still good. And the Vols don't look as good now, but those are still 2 good wins at Missouri, blowing out Tennessee. That's impressive. Snuck out of South Carolina. I get it, but still. But they got a scary one at home against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's ranked 11th. Last year, Alabama saw their CFP hopes be gone when they got blown out at Oklahoma in what was a shocker because Oklahoma was trash. This year it's in Tuscaloosa. Alabama's better, but Ty Simpson just kind of struggled a bit lately, struggling against LSU. They only win 20-9, but at Oklahoma, this is a must-win for them. But I'll dive more into the Oklahoma side of things when I get to Oklahoma. But Bama, if they lose that game, the pressure might be on for the last 2 games. Where, hey, one more slip-up. If you don't win your next 2, season's going to be in jeopardy. And we're most likely going to see them in, But there is a slim chance that the Crimson Tide somehow miss out on the college football playoff. Because, again, Kalen DeBoer, great at getting upset. He has 5 losses at Bama, 4 of which are to unranked opponents. 8-1, 6-1 in conference play, ranked 5th in the country. The Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia is a good college football team. I thought that they would lose in Starkville. I really did. They handled them by 20 points. It looked like an upset might happen when on the opening drive Mississippi State scores, but no. Dogs get a big win there. They have a huge game at home against Texas. Last year they went into Austin, blew them out. And then they played again in the SEC Championship, won again. So Georgia's handled Texas, but Texas is looking red hot. Arch Manning looks great in the insane Mississippi State comeback, and then looked great in the Vanderbilt win, even though they almost blew the lead. So that's a scary game for Georgia. If they lose that game, there's still going to be talks. You don't reach SEC title game, lose at Georgia Tech, and all of a sudden you're not going to the college football playoff. All of a sudden, a 9-3 Dogs team is out. 2 losses in conference play isn't enough to get you into the conference title game, and you're out all of a sudden. I don't think it'll happen, but there's a shot. Or I actually think it could happen. Texas is rolling at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's still a good team, even after the NC State loss. 9-1, 5-1 conference play, ranked seventh in the country. The Ole Miss Rebels, they have to be a bit scared about the Florida game. I get it. Kentucky just blew out Florida. DJ Lagway, we don't even know if he's starting or not. Or maybe we do. I'm actually going to quickly check. But I'm just saying, you lost in the Swamp last year. And okay, well, the Gators stand behind DJ Lagway, so maybe he could have a great day. I don't think so, but he could, and you lost to them last year in an upset. But if they win this game and lose to Mississippi State, are they out? That's also a question. And, of course, they haven't had a bye week, and I mean, their bye week is in the second to last week of the college football season. They have one of the last bye weeks in the country, which is crazy. But yeah, they are a great football team, Ole Miss. And they have surprised me. But they looked bad with Austin Simmons, honestly. They are probably grateful he got hurt, because now Trinidad Chambliss is in like the top 10 Heisman conversation. He's not going to win it or anything, but he's been exceptional and been great. So that is impressive. And they should be glad Austin Simmons went down, and then that they got Trinidad Chambliss from, I think, Ferris State. But yeah, tough loss to Georgia when you were up by 2 scores in the fourth. You were up by 9 points, 35-26, lost 43-35. But the Rebels are still a great college football team. The win in Norman looks better. Ole Miss is great. But LSU win does not look that good anymore. But Tulane wins pretty good. 7-2, 4-1 conference play, ranked 10th in the country. The Texas Longhorns, a phenomenal college football team. Big win against Vanderbilt. You're fresh off of a bye week. Georgia is not, but you got to go to Athens. Last year, you got smoked at home in the regular season against Georgia, and then lost them in overtime in the SEC title game, even after Carson Beck got hurt. But Texas is looking great all of a sudden. I mean, they struggled against Kentucky. Arch played a mid-game against a great Oklahoma defense, which was impressive. Texas all seemed lost after going into the Swamp and getting upset, and yet the season has been revived. If does a 9-3 Texas team get in? I think they honestly might. Because let's see, you lose in Athens, and if it's close, you maybe move down 2 ranks, a rank or 2, still be on the bubble. And then if you beat Mississippi State, Texas A&M, you're probably in. So I do think that we would see a 9-3 Texas Longhorns team in. But can they get there? Whether the win is against Georgia and loss it to Texas A&M, or wins against Texas A&M and lost to Georgia. But I think they can beat both of those teams, honestly. 8-2, 4-2 in conference play, ranked 14th in the country. The Vanderbilt Commodores, they survive Auburn. They were down 20-10 at halftime, and Auburn received. All teams lost. Pavius clutch, throws for, I think it was like 370 yards, maybe not, but I think about 370 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and he ran for like 110 yards and a touchdown and not fumble it. So he combined for like 480 total yards, 4 touchdowns, and no turnovers to catapult him into the Heisman conversation again. Vanderbilt is a great team. You have a bye week, then you host Kentucky. You'll have a bye week to rest up. You better win that game. And then it'll be a win-in Neyland if they can get past Kentucky. I am a tiny bit concerned that a 10-2 Vandy team gets excluded, because they had 3 top 15 wins at the time, but now it's like, eek. Missouri's unranked, LSU's unranked, and so is South Carolina. And South Carolina's a bad team. And also, what if Texas finishes 8-4? That would be bad news for them, too, because then that loss looks worse. And what if Bama loses a game or 2? That makes that look even worse. So I am actually a tiny bit concerned a 10-2 Vandy team is excluded, but I hope not. 7-2, 3-2 in conference play, ranked 11th in the country, the Oklahoma Sooners. Of course, big game in Alabama. John Mateer, of course, was the Heisman favorite a while ago, now not even in the top 10. Because of an horrendous performance against Texas. He's still good, John Mateer. They're going to need him to play at his best in Tuscaloosa for them to keep those college football playoff hopes alive. A 9-3 Oklahoma team, people say they would get in. I know they wouldn't drop down that much as long as it's close. And then they have to, but then hosting Missouri and hosting LSU, those wouldn't be that big wins. They would win both of those games. Are those big enough wins to propel them in? I will say, if a 9-3 Oklahoma team gets in over a 10-2 Vanderbilt team, I will be insanely angry. I get it. Vandy needed to outscore them 21-0 in the fourth quarter, but they competed better than Oklahoma did against Texas, and that game was in Austin. That was just a neutral site for Oklahoma. So Sooners, this is a must-win. If they drop that game, season's probably over. Venables is not on the hot seat, which I thought he honestly might be fired. I honestly thought that, but because I thought that they would fall apart. But going into Neyland and winning, now that Missouri and LSU looks easier, I think this team is probably finishing 9-3, but could still be 10-2, honestly. 6-3, 3-3 in conference play, ranked, I think it's 23rd in the country. The Tennessee Volunteers, they're fresh off of a bye week. Season has been rough. Losing to Equine, I'll leave it pretty much said everything about the year. Fall just short to Georgia. They don't have a good win. Their best win's probably Mississippi State in overtime on the road. That is probably their best win. But this has been a frustrating year. Then got blown out to Alabama. But maybe if you get a touchdown on that second goal right before the half, at least I'm pretty sure it was second goal, instead of getting pick six, the entire game would probably be different. I think they would have been down by 2 at halftime, but they were down by 16. And then, of course, Oklahoma came to town and they lost, throwing everything out the window. They have played 3 good teams this year and are 0-3 against good teams. I'm just saying they could very well lose in the Swamp. Then, of course, Vanderbilt is a chance to get a good win though. 6-3, 2-3 in conference play. Unranked, the Missouri Tigers blown out at home to Texas A&M. Frustrating moment for that team. And, having Prbula hurt just stinks. The loss to Vanderbilt kind of just got this all started. They're still a good team. No one expected them to even have been 6-1 to start the year. They were a surprising great team. Now they're kind of struggling. They'll probably lose to Oklahoma. This has been a rough year. Not gonna but it hasn't been that bad. But they're probably not gonna have their third consecutive 10-win year. Going 11-2, then 10-3. Unless they win out, including bowl game win. They are not getting a 10-win season again, unfortunately. 5-4, 2-4 in conference play, unranked. The LSU Tigers, frustrating season. Corso picked them to win the Natty on the week 1 college game day. The hype was real. I don't know why people were so excited for Garrett Nussmeier. Like I said, what did he do? Like last year, his stats weren't even that good. The team missed out on the college football playoff at 8-4. Like, why? And, LSU's defense wanted to upset Alabama, clearly, because they only gave up 20 points in Tuscaloosa, while Garrett Nussmeier and the LSU offense were like, nah, let's just score 9 points and lose. Kelly's been fired. This has been just a horrible season. They've lost 3 in a row, 4 of their last 5. When everyone was like, hey, they're 4-0 ranked 4th, this team's great, I'm pretty sure I was always like, but they beat Louisiana Tech by 16 only. That's kind of when I first was, suspicious. At least I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure I was like, okay, what are we doing? Why is the hype so real when, Louisiana Tech is trash and you beat them by 16 points? No offense to Louisiana Tech fans. Just they're not that good. The most amount of points LSU scored against FBS opponent is 25. The most amount of points they scored is 56, but that was Southeastern Louisiana. Who cares? I'm just saying it's been a rough year for LSU. 3-6, 2-4 conference play, the Florida Gators. The Kentucky game was kind of like, okay, we've given up. South Florida lost as well, but South Florida's pretty good. LSU looked fine at the time, not that good anymore, but still. Death Valley at night is still tough to play, and the Aggies breeze through, but still, at Miami, that's a fine loss. I mean, doesn't look as good now, but Miami's still a great team that can still maybe sneak in to the college football playoff. And then of course, and then Texas A&M. I mean, it was close at a point in time, but they did get smoked. And then Georgia game was close. Honestly, should have won that game. But then losing 38-7 to Kentucky, that's just horrendous. It sounds like DJ Lagway's gonna play. Big opportunity to upset Ole Miss back-to-back years. On the road, though, Oxford's gonna be bumping, looking to stay in the CFP hunt. Maybe clinch the CFP berth at 10-1. Who knows? Even if you lose in Starkville on Thanksgiving Day, you might still get in. But that's gonna be the last time Ole Miss plays on a full college football Saturday, because bye week, then Thanksgiving Day, which is Thursday. Which of course is a Thursday, considering Thanksgiving is always a Thursday. But Florida, this has just been a rough year. Again, I was so high on them, had the number 7 in my rankings. So disappointing. 4-5, 2-5 in conference play, the Kentucky Wildcats. They've won back-to-back against Auburn, beat them 10-3, got Hugh Freeze fired, and then they beat Florida 38-7. They're just embarrassing bad SEC teams. I mean, I get it. The Auburn game was close, but they embarrassed them by giving up only 3 points. But maybe Mark Stoops can hold on to his job. He probably will now, considering the buyout's so big. Excuse me. He hasn't had a horrible tenure there. They will probably keep him. I know that's probably not what Kentucky fans want to hear, but I mean, it's fine. They gave him another year. He had a success. He hasn't had an insanely bad tenure in their starting to win. I get it. Florida and Auburn are trash, but still. 5-5, 1-5 in conference play. The Mississippi State Bulldogs. It might be time for Levy to go. If I'm gonna be honest, it might be time to go. It might be time for him to go. I'm promising 4-0 start, and they're like, okay, we should have beaten Tennessee. I mean, just slipped away. Oh, okay, Texas A&M wasn't even close. Okay, and then you're like, okay, why did we throw it there? Like, why? Like, why did we just lose to Florida? And then you're like, how did we just blow a 17-point lead to Texas? But then you're like, yay, we beat, I think it was Arkansas, yippee. And then you're like, okay, let's just lose by 20 to Georgia. This has just been a rough year. It's been rough for Mississippi State. It might be time to just fire Jeff Levy. I'm just saying. 4-6, but I mean, it might be a bit too early. 4-6, 1-6 in conference play. The Auburn Tigers. It's kind of funny. They were losing all these close games because defense was great, offense is bad. Offense was bad. Fire Hugh Freeze, and you lose another close game because defense was bad and offense was great. Maybe the defense was bad because D.J. Durkin was named the interim coach, so he had to handle just the entire team and not just defense. So, like, maybe he struggled more, but still, that just is tough. Auburn, I mean, all six of their losses are one-score games, except for Georgia game, but that was pretty much a one-score game, and a wrong call cost them that game. They're so close to being 10-0. I mean, literally. They are probably the fact that a 4-6 team is like a couple plays each game away from being 10-0, I get it. That's kind of a reach. But yeah, I mean they're 0-5 in one-score games. They have not won in a one-score game. It's just been brutal. Or maybe they did win in a one-score game. I don't know who their one conference. Or no, because it's a 9-point win against Arkansas. This is just a frustrating year for Auburn. 3-6, 1-6 in conference by the South Carolina Gamecocks. So disappointing. LaNorris Sellers has just been rough. Will he enter the draft? Because I'm pretty sure he can. Or will he transfer to Miami? I think he should transfer to Miami, but maybe they can get some magic going and stun Texas A&M again. Highly doubt it. College Station's going to be loud for that game. This has just been so bad. I mean, last year ended great. If LaNorris Sellers doesn't get hurt against LSU, they probably go to the college football playoff because they probably win that game. That's just so upsetting as a South Carolina Gamecock fan. So you're like, we barely miss out, but oh well, this next year is going to be our year. And then you're like, oh no, everything's gone wrong. We won't even get a bowl game. 2-7, 0-5 in conference play. The Arkansas Razorbacks, of course, fired Pittman. Almost beat Tennessee. Yippee! Almost beat Texas A&M. Yippee! Then 9-point loss to Auburn. Then lose to Mississippi State. They're just bad. Petrino does not deserve that job. And I don't even know who they're going to hire. But yeah, it was a dumb hiring Sam Pittman in the first place because he was just an O-line coach for Georgia. And they're like, okay, we'll just hire him. Like, who hires an O-line coach? No offense to Sam Pittman, though. Well, that's it for this episode of the College Football Show. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will be doing my pick video tomorrow where I do my picks, Friday night picks. I will be picking Louisville, Clemson, and Oregon, Minnesota, and then I will do my college football pregame show covering Iowa, USC. I was ranked 21st, USC is ranked 17th. Well, that's it for this episode of the College Football Show, and I will see you tomorrow for my Friday night picks. Bye now.